Previously on Dandies in Danger.
They lift the curtains and enter a room with an overwhelming scent of tobacco. There are only 4 players at the table. 2 humans, a satyr, and a devilish creature that appears to be made of stone.
Good evening, mortals. We are just about to start another round of ever-turning wheel.
What happens whenever somebody wins?
They win what is in the jackpot, which happens to be a lot of gold.
We could always take a turn at it. That's what we're here for. Let's go. We've got 30 pieces of gold, so we should get the book for sure.
Yes, let's.
Herbs.
Hi, my name is Eli. My pronouns are he, him, and I play the voice of Zachary Wilkos.
Hey, I'm Cass, pronouns she, her, and I'm voicing Liam Bardsley.
Hi, I'm Chess, pronouns he, she, they, and I voice Daniel Pritchard.
Hi, I'm Toast, pronouns are she, they, and I play Adrian Edwards.
So, we are right outside the Grand Grimoire. It did not feel like you spent this much time inside. You had come to this place in the evening, and when you come out, the streets are absolutely empty. And you get the sense that it is very, 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 very early in the morning.
Oh, no. Okay.
It's almost as if time moved a little differently.
Oh, that's not good.
But you hear the sound of hoof falls and the wheels of a carriage. You recognize the silhouette of Fergus and his horses, and he comes up as if he was waiting for you, as if he knew when this place closed, and wanted to check on you. And so he pulls up in front of you all. Where are you off to?
Hang on, I forget. Did he not want us to come here?
He was not terribly happy that you were going to be going there, but he kind of like hung around as if like he needed to intervene. Maybe.
Oh, and he drove us here, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, right.
Have you been waiting here the whole time?
No.
Oh, that's good. Would have felt guilty otherwise.
Been taken
Naps?
close by. Rides.
Uh-huh. Thanks. So, Zachary turns to the others. My place?
I suppose. I don't know what we're doing.
Right.
Yes, I think so. That sounds like a good plan.
It's probably the best suited to our, he looks around, needs. Although it's very early in the morning, there's probably nobody there. He's still very careful about this sort of a thing.
There is a dog in an alley.
Somewhere. So, I guess he gives Fergus his address in case Fergus forgot, and just, they all file into the thing.
He's old, it's good to give him the chance. As they are walking in, and he like opens the carriage door for you guys, Daniel actually has a leftover negative point of luck that I forgot to spend. So as he's stepping in, he trips over his cloak, falls face first, he eats shit in front of everyone. Mud on his face, a big disgrace. And Fergus is like, you alright? And he's like, embarrassed, and he's like, I'm fine. Goodness. And he like brushes himself off.
Oh, Daniel.
And now Daniel's luck is back to 0. As a game mechanic, your luck will follow you. It will linger outside of magical places that you have been, or bad, unlucky places that you have been, or good energy, that kind of thing. It will follow you, 'cause in that same way that the Demon's Nest ookie gookiness clung to you, and Fergus was able to sense it. You can always, also as a game mechanic, you can always ask Fergus to give you a blessing like he did earlier, and it will set your luck meter back to a neutral 0. So if we came into contact with something really bad and we had a lot of leftover bad luck, we could 0 it out with Fergus.
Nice.
All right. So you all head to Zachary's. Is there anything that you want to discuss in the carriage? Are the lads talking to each other on the ride there?
I can't think of anything except that Zachary has probably scolded Daniel once or twice for going after what is clearly somebody with bad intent.
What?
They were seducing you.
I think he was fully aware of that.
I like to be seduced.
That could have been bad.
I listen, I understand that.
Then-
Yes, I get it. I get it, yes. He's very annoyed and he brushes the mud off of his cloak.
Then why did you, sort of give in to those advances?
She was exceedingly alluring. Zachary, did it occur to you that perhaps she was casting some sort of spell on me?
Adrian's just glad someone else is being scolded right now.
Zachary just folds his arms and leans back.
Adrian, I guess, is gonna sit forward and so what exactly is our plan?
Currently, I guess it's to make sure we infuse what we have with the magic we have, and, well, I can give you a slight rundown of the church, but there are only a couple floors I have access to, really. Everything else...
How many?
I believe he counts on his fingers.
He technically only has access to 4 floors. That includes the ground floor. So he has access to above grounds with the cathedral and the orchards and things. And he has access to the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd levels.
He explains this and says anything farther below is completely off limits to me and would be highly suspect if I were to attempt to try and go down there. And besides, it's locked. Not that I've tried.
Well, I don't think they'll be holding the angels on any levels that an accountant has access to.
No, they would probably hold them in what I assume would be the deepest level. That's where the dungeons are, and that's perhaps where they would be keeping our feathered friends.
Suppose that makes sense.
Adrian says, look, I was talking a bit of a big game with the feathery man out there saying he was bad at his job earlier, but I'm not positive we can actually do this.
Well, Karan sent us into the merchant shop for a reason. We do have spells of persuasion now. If we can use some of these items, like to persuade somebody to lead us down to the dungeon, perhaps, then we could make use of that.
We just have to be very, very clever, and we have to be very, very kept together. Liam, your family actually has some standing with the bank, and I'm an accountant.
Does the church need investors?
Churches always need money.
Churches always need money.
Churches love money.
Roofs are always falling in.
Yes, and actually, the church has been getting quite a bit of money from...
Sorry about that.
Fergus, what did you run over? It was the dog.
It's nothing. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It wasn't a turtle.
When are they going to use...
Wipes tears away from his face.
When are they going to use that money to fill the potholes?
This is based on a story where I did run over a turtle.
Oh.
All right. Go on.
Sad.
That has completely knocked out what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
Moment of silence for the turtle.
Yes, indeed.
F in the chat. Well, there are... the church does get some private investments from some interested sources who would want to keep the Hunters of the Eternal Knighthood going and funded. Not only does the government quietly put money into this church...
Wait, do you know who any of the private investors are? Being an accountant, you should, right?
Yes, I do.
Is that the sort of work you process?
Yes, it is. Along with general processing of certain knights' paychecks.
Ooh, perhaps we could blackmail some people afterwards.
No, he says, his voice squeaking, because they'll trace it back to me and I'll be dragged down. There isn't really a court system there.
All right.
They'll just kill me, probably. Worst case scenario. Worst case scenario.
That's not legal. That can't be legal.
It's nothing really that the church does is legal, seeing as how the church isn't openly recognized, but it's more of a very secret organization that follows its own rules that it needs in order to get things done, and sometimes that means quieting certain witches. He goes very pale.
Well, the church has come more into the light recently ever since the Slua were flying over the city, so supposedly a young bank owner's son, I suppose, could be interested in making an investment to this quote-unquote new organization, since they have come to light more recently.
I think actually that's not a bad idea. We could have it that you were scheduled for a visit. No matter what, the goal is not to mess about. We have to get down to that lowest floor as soon as possible. If you are with me, not a lot of people are going to be asking questions. I work in there and nobody gets in unless the church knows it. And therefore a lot of people feel very safe in that way. Someone like me can go in and out of that church all the time. They obviously think that their place is foolproof and aren't too terribly concerned with the idea that there are somehow infiltrators. They are very trusting in their wards. What we need to do is we need to find somebody with the key that goes to the lower level, if not all the lower levels. That is our main objective. We have to at least figure out a way to get down there. Then once we're in front of the angels, we can figure out something once we're there. And then we will, of course, need to think of our escape route. But right now,
Yes.
I believe what our goal is to find somebody, convince them to give us the key, lead us down there as our escort, and then once we're down there, there is probably something heavy enough to knock them out if we need to.
Would that not put you at a terrible risk, Zachary, if your face is associated with this escape plan?
That's true. I don't suppose you could ever go back to the church after this.
He's very quiet, and he looks down at the carriage floor. It seems to only really occur to him in this moment that what you're saying is true, and he lets out a breath, and he looks to you three and goes, well, I don't know what else to do.
What if we stage it and pretend we've captured you, and we knocked you out, and we've tricked you? Or we can ask Fergus if he'll get you a new job after.
Maybe we could pretend that we used the persuasion spell on him.
Yes,
On Zachary.
on his little feeble mind.
I don't know about that. He says very quietly.
Oh, they would interrogate you. They would do those horrible things.
What if there was some way to have Zach remain on the upper levels? We've got the spell of projecting mind. Zach might be the perfect lookout where he could project mind and keep us abreast of the situation upstairs and let us know if anyone's caught on to us.
He nods vigorously. That's not a bad idea. It would keep me fairly innocent, and if it all goes right and well...
What if we could arrange for some way to smuggle the angels out as corpses? Is there a cemetery around?
There is a cemetery around, and they do use dead man's blood for a very specific reason. They have a backlog of many, many corpses.
That's very gross.
And if the angels are like Fergus, then they're physical human bodies, right?
Yes, they are. Hopefully, nobody will see the wings like I do. I don't think so. So you could smuggle them out as different bodies. There should be a passageway and a tunnel.
Do you know that for certain?
I know that there's a cemetery.
We need more information.
Daniel's right. Right now we don't have enough.
Well, Zachary, the next time you go in, is there any way you could research who might have the key, who might have access to these lower levels?
It might take a while.
We might not have time for that. The angels might become demons before then.
Not time for one day of reconnaissance?
I don't know. Fergus made it seem very serious.
Well, let's ask Fergus.
Hi, Fergus.
Liam knocks on the roof.
Why, what?
Liam is actually kind of like bashful whenever he faces Fergus again.
Catholic boy.
We were wondering, sir, if you know what time we would have to do a little bit of reconnaissance in the church. How urgent is this? Would you say that we need to go bust them out tomorrow or face horrible consequences, or do you think they could last for another day so we could investigate the church properly?
I don't feel comfortable talking about it out in the open like this, but we're almost there.
Well, all right.
I think one day of reconnaissance isn't a bad idea, says Zachary, especially if we want to make absolutely sure. This is all of our lives on the risk.
And if we fail, then it's over. And it will happen.
We might be dead, so...
Yes, I don't know if this would happen or not, but what if we're caught and they, draws his hand across his throat?
They would, he says. They would kill us if we were caught breaking them out.
Well, then we'd fail and the angels would definitely become demons. I think it's a good idea to make sure we do it right.
I agree.
Well, we'll see what Fergus has to say for sure. But I am inclined to think that one day of reconnaissance would not be half bad.
Also, I don't want to die.
Zachary kind of nods as if that's the first time the idea of dying has really occurred to him. And I guess not in a way that's like, oh no, but in a way that's like, oh, I guess I am supposed to be kind of scared to death, aren't I? Instead of just like quietly disassociating.
The carriage comes to a stop, and you see out the window, you guys are at Zachary's place. Fergus gets down as well.
Come inside, please.
Sure, just a moment. He kind of leads his horses and parks to the side. You're all going in, and then Fergus is behind you all, and he's got his crows on him, and he's like, well, thank you. And then he starts to walk into the door, and boom, he like hits an invisible wall.
Oh, sorry, says Zachary, and he waves his hand in a circular motion, and that sort of comforting feeling that everybody can feel when they sort of walk into the house lifts, and it's the same outside as it is inside. Come on in. Sorry about that.
Fergus tentatively puts his hands out before him to feel the doorframe, the space surrounded by the doorframe, to make sure that he's not going to hit his nose in it again. And when his hands pass through, he cautiously steps in.
Like a cat that ran into a screen door.
Wham!
Yeah. It's like,
Where is Zachary's cat?
Zachary's cat is in the kitchen and has come out with a little prow, and then sees the crows on Fergus's shoulders, and its eyes get big.
the crows kind of poof up their feathers.
Says Zachary, and he picks up the cat and he puts it outside.
Oh.
He closes the door.
Adrian looks after it wistfully.
I think Mitty's an indoor-outdoor cat, right?
Yeah, Mitty is a little indoor-outdoor.
Zach has like a teeny-weeny little yard.
Mm-hmm. All right, says Zachary, and he leads people into the living room space, and he goes, okay, questions. How much time do you think we have?
They're doing their best to hang on. That's all I can sense.
So do we have time for a day, or would you say that's not even... it's too risky?
What are you planning to do in this day?
We need a lot more information than we have right now, and I know I already work in the church, but there are just certain things I need to know for sure.
So you're scouting?
Yes.
Whatever you need to do to make sure that you don't fail.
So we have that day?
Hopefully, but you should get to it as soon as you can.
Do you have any communication with your fellow angels through any sense of feeling?
Yes.
Can you feel to them somehow to just hang on one more day?
I can try to communicate that, yes.
Perhaps 2 days, perhaps.
I've let them know that help is on the way, and it's given them a bit of hope.
Zachary nods.
Can you tell us anything that we could use to recognize these angels whenever we see them? It would be good to know what we're looking for.
Writhing in pain, perhaps?
Who knows how many people will be writhing in pain in the church dungeons?
No, he has a good point. They are bringing people down there.
I don't like this place.
Well, for one, they've all got wings.
I will be able to see those.
But if Zachary's upstairs, then we won't be able to see them.
You should be able to see him if you've got one of my feathers on you.
Oh, alright.
That's correct. Okay. 1 day of reconnaissance. The angels know we're on our way. This could destroy my life, says Zachary, looking over at Fergus.
It could destroy all of London.
Oh, well, okay. Great, wonderful. Do we have any sort of insurance?
Well, especially for Zachary. Zachary is risking one of the only places where he can go and not be afflicted by spirits. Is there any sort of protection that you can provide for him if he were to lose his job?
If I am suspected in this at all, it won't just be a matter of losing my job.
You'll have to go on the run.
Yes.
Listen, I'm not a job finder.
Fergus, if I may be so casual. But good lord.
Well, if you do it stealthily, you won't have a threat to your job.
I just want you to know you have tasked 4 very ordinary men
I know.
to do something that you go against the entire church.
I understand that.
No, you don't seem to understand that. You don't seem to understand the gravity of what you're asking because all you're thinking about is what could happen if we fail. I want to know. If something happens and I get found out, that is it. That is my life. I don't need you to do anything about it. I just need you to know. Everything you are asking me to do, even if I succeed, I may not have a life after this.
You could always learn how to be a cabbie.
Good.
Liam is gonna put a hand on Zach's shoulder and is gonna turn him around and is gonna be like, we'll make sure that you're alright. We'll take care of you.
Yeah, think about that for a moment, Zachary, actually. We're around here too, and you're the one who was getting very pissy about me, about not knowing that people care about me. He's trying to remember what it was, actually.
He opens a little book, like thumbs through it, like, it's, here it is.
Yeah. These are the mean things you said. So, yeah, we're going to look out for you. What do you think of that?
Mm-hmm.
He's stunned, and it seems like it didn't occur to him before, and he goes,
Big surprise.
It would put you in a lot of danger if you did, though.
We're in it. You did a horrible thing to yourself to protect us, and we'll do the same for you. Ha ha.
That's what friends are for.
Yes.
Doing horrible things to protect each other?
Yes.
Yes.
What?
Based on the
I would
evidence
help
we
you
have
bury
in
a
the
body.
past.
If it came to it.
We're getting rather close with the plan that we have now.
No, we'll be unburying the bodies.
He nods and he says, thank you. And he looks at his friends. Okay.
Adrian nods very haughtily.
Oh, how you hate to be proven wrong or anything. He's still looking at Adrian. You love being right, don't you?
Well, yes.
And you love being self-sacrificing, says Daniel to Zachary.
Adrian points and nods.
Now, this isn't about me, listen. He's readjusting his collar and everything. He goes, all right, okay, never mind. Thank you all. I deeply appreciate your support, and I will take you up on it. And right now, we should focus on the mission. Tomorrow, I will go to work, as usual. Reconnaissance. We'll meet up again here tomorrow night, and then the next day, we will all go in together.
All right.
Right.
God help us.
Listen, I understand the sacrifice you're all making.
Do you?
I do. I do. And I can't offer much inside of the church, but I can offer a bit of insurance outside of it. Any miracles you need me to perform, I will do so to aid you.
Are there any other angels you can rally to wait outside for us and receive your men?
Receive my what?
To receive the angels that are coming out.
You don't know they're
Right.
men.
Huh?
Angels. They're not men, probably. They're just
All I know
beings.
is that one of them is a man and two of them are women.
Oh, never
Sorry.
mind. They do have genders. Forget it. Forget what I said.
Angels are genderless beings, but when they make a pact with us,
He puts his hands on his face and he goes, oh my god, do you have enough resources to receive the people who are in trouble once we get them out of the church?
yes, I do.
Thank you.
Once you are out of the church, I can take care of
Fergus,
it.
sir,
Yes.
are you the only one who knows about this plan? Are you the only one working with us?
At the moment, yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Lord's name. All right.
I told you we don't talk much. All of us.
Like any bureaucratic department, he mutters. Okay, we might also need help from Carrion if we could afford it.
Fergus kind of he thinks thoughtfully.
He thinks big thoughts thoughtfully.
He thinks big thought. He uses his big thinker to think big thoughts thoughtfully.
His expression is pensive, and when you mention Carrion, he kind of doesn't necessarily like the idea of it, but at the same time, he is not saying anything against it.
Zachary nods. Right, well, see if you can work with him at least.
Me?
Look,
Yes, you.
we need some people prepared outside while we're in there, and you're just going to have to both get along, get over whatever
Little marital spat you have.
business you had previously.
His feathers bristle up at marital spot.
It's a good idea, and you can't deny it that you will need help, especially if we've got 3 angels,
Yes.
most of which probably cannot stand or walk on their own after a tremendous amount of torture, and we need to file them into your cab. And probably race
Throwing them into the cab.
I mean,
The getaway driver.
Good lord.
this is basically an angel heist.
Look,
Should
I'm
we
not
be the
trying
ones-
to be defeatist, but if I die, I'm fully unprepared for this sort of thing.
I don't know how many people are prepared to die, my friend.
that's not what I'm worried about.
Okay.
The death part, I'm just saying, it's not on purpose, it might just happen.
That you will just die?
Yeah.
That's life. He says.
I just don't want you to get mad at me about it, alright?
Is he saying, don't get mad at me if I die?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna get mad at you if you die. I will be really sad if you're dead.
Alright, great.
I'll cry.
Awkward.
Hey!
It's just like, you baby.
Nerd.
You would cry.
What a nerd.
What a nerd.
Do we need to ask Fergus anything else?
I don't think he has much else to offer us, honestly.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
I will reach out to other angels and see if we can get more people on
Do you have
board.
any really pretty ones?
Adrian.
No offense.
Yes.
Ooh.
A few.
Alright. Well, this is gonna go great.
Yes, Zachary, before tomorrow, would now be a good time to charm the objects?
Yes, I will do just
yes.
that. I'll spend tonight infusing everything.
Right, well, I guess I'll go.
Thank you, Fergus. He walks him to the door and he lets him out.
Nothing.
Liam elbows Adrian.
Be polite. He's an angel. It's not very good at it.
Alright, well, good luck, all of you, and don't hesitate to contact me.
Oh, go
if you
talk
need
to
help.
Carrion, don't forget.
Yes, don't forget to talk to Carrie. And I will not hesitate to
nice.
call you. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Is that all?
Oh, damn it. It occurs to me,
Blushes and looks, doesn't want to meet your eyes. Like, I never asked any of your names.
Oh, I thought you might just know those.
No, I don't.
Good.
The Lord is omniscient, but I am just an angel.
I'm Zachary.
Zachary.
Zachary Wilkos.
I'm Liam Bardsley.
Can you do something with our names if you know them?
No. Well, I can call you by him.
As long as this doesn't tie us up in any strange contract. Anyway, my name's Adrian.
I'm Daniel. Right.
Remember to write those down if we die.
I have a very good
gravestones.
memory.
Do you?
Well, hopefully none of you will die.
That is the idea.
All right. Well, he wipes his brow. I really hope you succeed.
Yes, so do we.
Yes, don't hesitate to ask me for any help whatsoever.
Except not in the church.
Not in the church. I can't do much there.
Great, wonderful.
Right. Well, I'll be seeing ya.
See ya.
Leaves.
Zachary closes the door and he leans against it for a second, then he looks at his friends and he goes, "This is gonna be fine. This is gonna be fine. It's all gonna be fine."
They all just stare at you.
After showing Fergus out, they head back into the living room and...
Zachary, don't forget to put your ward back up again.
Oh, right. He says tired and he waves his hand and again the warm sort of embrace feeling falls over everybody. This does little, it seems, to calm Zachary. He's otherwise, tired and anxiousness, and he sits down. He drags up Magick's book, and he cracks it open, and he goes, "Well, I suppose I can start reading from this to see what we actually bought. I hope it's not nonsense. Welcome, dear neophyte. Your journey begins much like the fool who steps off the precipice, unknowing of where they will end up. I hope you find what you are seeking in this book, and that your way is paved with more wonderment than misfortune." Me too. But be warned, like any precipice, no matter how small, it is still possible you might get hurt. Therefore, this harpy recommends you practice magic with a professionally trained magic user, to reverse ill effects and help instill the best of practice. If you are without such an ally, may this book serve as your guide. He runs a hand through his hair. As you are a beginner, let us start at that very special place, the beginning. Like the fool, your first steps are absolutely full of wonder. Oh, how I envy you your first jump from the nest. Let us then talk of the principles. There are many types of magic, and not all are compatible with one another. The one I shall teach you in this book is the one that harnesses, well, the power within. That is, your power. Yes, you have power, dear one, right inside you. It was always there, growing, glowing, just waiting to be let out. Some philosophers have called this power the soul, or animus, and harnessing this power is called intention. Intention is just that, intent. There is a great power in focus and in purpose. These combined, with just the right words and tools, is magic. To access one's intent, imagine a warm, glowing light in your chest, right next to your heart, but perfectly centered. It is important to picture it as balanced, if you wish to control a steady stream. Imagine this light as a flowing spring, which carves pathways through the mountains of your body, much like many branching streams. See it glowing and feel it warm as it makes its way down your arms, past your wrists, and into the tips of every finger and thumb, vibrating with electricity. Yes, your electricity. This person really favors exclamation points in their writing. This is your intent. This is your power. With practice, you will be able to tap into your animus freely and become a vessel for the beautiful power within. You are of most help to others when you allow yourself to shine freely. Author's hint. Practice meditating on intent. Picture yourself as a living mountain with many Alright. Heart to your fingertips. Rub these together. When you are confident in locating your animus and fueling your intent, you are ready to turn the page. In this book you will find protection spells, healing spells, illusions, and much more. You will also note that this book does not contain any curses. If you are an old magus seeking to learn curses, and whose filthy hands have somehow landed upon my book, I do nip at thee. But if you are a young witch seeking to learn curses, I pity the circumstances that have caused you to feel that you must hurt others, and I beg you to reconsider before tampering with such dark energies. The world is cruel, and we may sometimes feel like an animal trapped in a corner. We may snap our beaks and rip with our claws, but in the end we are no closer to a life of happiness. Likewise, engaging with curses will do quite the opposite of your intended purpose, and drive you further into the depths of despair. Therefore, I have removed the temptation to smite all neighbors, and ask you instead focus on healing that soul, your animus, for that will not only produce better results, but will trickle out into all aspects of your life. You will be surprised what you can live through, and how many better days are ahead. Well, that was nice.
Quite poetic.
Yeah. I suppose I'll get started on taking everything that we won and then bought and infusing it with magic.
And you do think that, well, Fergus would have stopped us if this sort of thing was bad for us, you know, biblically, right?
How do you mean?
He means going to hell.
Obviously, Zachary, obviously you would be fine because, you know, you were born with this, but...
Oh, because you think I'm already going to hell, is that it?
Zachary, no!
I'm kidding.
Perish the thought!
I'm joking, it's fine.
Don't be mean to him.
There's nothing in here that is going to send you to eternal damnation. Not with everything that this book just spoke of. It took out curses, and I assume that means there's also no hexes or anything like that, so...
I see, so all of this is above board.
Yes, I would say all of this is above board.
Very well then. I have this sapphire ring here for you to enchant. Perhaps something like, can I see the book?
He hands it to him.
After a bit of looking through, he says, how about this one? How about imprinting and summoning a weapon? Imprint, a magical version of a weapon to be summoned for later use. Be sure to have a worthy vessel and access to the physical weapon. Grasp the weapon in your hand and hold the vessel in the other. Use your intention, and there's a recitation here. And then later, whenever you're ready to summon it, you have another recitation, and you hold the vessel in your hand, and hold your empty hand palm down. So, if I were to bring you my foil tomorrow, could you put my fencing sword in here, and then you could summon it, I could summon it out later?
I don't see why not. Yeah, that's something I can do.
How
Marvelous.
fancy.
I think that should come in handy. I could be armed in the church without appeering threatening.
Yes, not a bad idea.
Connect a bottle of wine to one of those myself.
Or a sandwich. You get hungry in the middle of it all.
You just have a ghostly sandwich show up.
Oh, the sandwiches! Liam pulls out the sandwiches that he brought with them to the Grand Grimoire. Everyone must be very hungry here. I would hate for Alan's hard work to go to waste here.
It's definitely been sitting there for like 8 hours or so.
Zachary eats one anyway. So, what other spells does Liam have?
What's he getting?
What's he getting?
I'd have to bring the rest of these jewels to you tomorrow, but I do have a nice brooch that I could pin to my cravat, and I think I should like to have the mimicry spell on this one. I think that would be of most use. Let me see what it says here.
I imagine Zachary starts writing all this down.
Mm-hmm.
So this one here allows the caster to take on the appearance of someone else for an hour. Take a piece of the person you wish to impersonate, such as a follicle of hair, a toenail, or blood. Mix this inside the heart of a creature, chicken, pig, goose, etc.
Oh.
Zachary frowns.
Well, I could ask Alan to whip me up some chicken heart tomorrow. And then, I don't know.
This was common.
Yeah.
Yeah, people would eat a lot of offal, so getting their hands on heart is actually very easy.
Mm-hmm. I could have him, whip me up a bit of chicken heart tomorrow, and it says here, cook with thyme, rosemary, garlic, and olive oil. I mean, aside from the follicle of hair mixed in there, in any case, while eating and swallowing, think of the person's image, voice, and stature. Feel your face mold into theirs. And there's another recitation here. I'll have to pay close attention if we use this to any sort of notable physical characteristics, such as a birthmark or walking with a limp. Mm-hmm. And yes, I suppose that would be the next one that I would want to take on. What would you think if we did a bit of our reconnaissance tomorrow, Zachary, and then we follow through with the plan of I could be accompanying you to the church as the son of a prominent banker, talking about the possibility of investment. And while we do our reconnaissance, we could see if we could find the person who has access to the dungeon. And then perhaps if I don't know.
What are you going to do?
Snip a bit of his toenail, I suppose, Adrian. I don't know how I'm going to get a piece of him. I'll have to wing it, won't I?
Just like offer a foot massage. Just like, yes, let me remove that boot.
You need to give
him a mani-pedi. My, you work these feet to the bone, don't you? Oh yes, it's been quite a day. You know how it is with hunters.
Yuck. Zachary otherwise nods and is like, well, it's better than nothing, and I think you would have a better chance. We would have a better chance if we did this together. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Liam and I are going to go into the church I will be showing Liam around, who will be posing more or less as himself, as an investor who is interested in making donations to the church to keep the Holy Church going, and showing him around the area and the facility and all the levels that I have access to. Under the guise of a tour, we can try and find somebody who has the keys to the next levels, hopefully all the levels, and when we meet that person, Liam or I, or the two of us can work together to try and get something, some physical thing off of that person directly attached to that person's body, so that Liam might be able to transform into them later. I think that's a good idea. During that day, Adrian and Daniel, let's see,
Perhaps we could just be a couple of porters.
and there are probably garments and things left in the church that we can possibly pick up and put on you two.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at Liam kind of excitedly, and he looks back at Daniel and nods, and he goes, I think this is possible. Yes. That's not a bad idea at all. All right, we'll do just that. Keep that in mind, Liam.
We'll keep our eyes out tomorrow.
Remember that was my idea there.
Yes, somebody make a note that it was definitely Adrian's idea, and he did a really good job.
The porter part.
Oh, I don't know if this would be... Well, don't do this if it's too dangerous, but perhaps it would be even better if you got some hair or something from 2 porters as well, and then Adrian and I could disguise completely as those porters using mimicry.
There's a way to do this. There is a cafeteria area in which food is served for everybody within the church who works there. So I'm dining on the same level as hunters, as the doctors, as the porters. Everybody eats there. This is possible. We might be able to go around, figure out who's a porter, grab hair follicles or things like that.
Take the sandwich out of their mouth and...
Take some of the spit.
Gently prick them in the back of the neck like, oh, sorry, I bumped into you.
Does that mean if we want to do that, Daniel and Adrian will also have to have mimicry spells?
I think so.
Okay, so we will need to bring some extra jewelry.
Adrian has jewelry.
Oh.
He just doesn't want to volunteer any because it'll break.
Want to use it on break.
It's like, Liam, yes, you have more.
Alright, fine, you'll bring it. He'll bring something.
Very, very good. All right, so we've established that.
And then on the day of our heist, as it were, Zachary, you'll stay on the upper levels. And perhaps if there was a way for Daniel to see through your eyes, that would give us a heads up if there was something happening on the upper levels or if somebody was going to come down and threaten us.
I think Daniel will be concentrating very hard on that, so I will probably need to be able to have some way of contacting you all.
My obsidian brooch is infused with shed sight already, and I have but to look into it. We have to apply extra things according to this book to make it Zachary's sight that I'll be seeing through.
Perhaps we should read out that passage.
Sure.
Yes, Daniel, give it a read.
Where is it? The spell of shared sight. Temporarily see through the eyes of someone else. Be sure to have a reflective vessel to look through. I've found that this spell works best with a mirror. If you have no such vessel, you may apply the spell directly to your eyes, but be warned that you will not be able to see out of them in your own body until the spell wears off, which is 1 hour. In this case, it is best to lie down as in meditation and move as little as possible until the spell wears off. Ready a potion of pansies, rue, dust, and tears from the person who will be sharing their sight and the person who will see through them, and enchant it with these words, Visus tuus meus est. Be sure it is the one who will share their sight who enchants it, or you will be seeing through the wrong eyes for an hour. Apply to the third eye of the person who wishes to see, and apply to the eyes of the person they'll be seeing through.
Of course, the other idea is that if you do need me to go down there with you, we could do this after I've gotten off of work, so it seems like I've gone home. And that way nobody would suspect that I'm around, or if somebody tries to come looking for me in my office, they wouldn't because I'm off the clock.
That's not a bad idea. Here, Daniel, can I see the book again?
Sure.
Wait, Zachary, I might have an excellent way to keep you safe during this, to keep you anonymous. There's something in here. It's perfect. It's invisibility.
Oh.
Have a read of that.
Alright. Let's see. Invisibility grants the caster invisibility for 30 minutes. That's nice. Take olive oil and apply it entirely to one's body the night before you wish to be invisible. Take some of the...
Oh.
I regret reading this out loud suddenly. Take some of the oil from your body, he's growing redder, and apply it to a clear crystal quartz. The clearer the better, with intent thinking of the words invisibilia corpus. I will get that right before I actually apply it.
Practice.
And picturing your body becoming invisible. The next day you may become invisible simply by placing this same quartz right between your closed eyes. They must be closed. Alright. No need for that exclamation point. And chanting Invisibilia Corpus out loud, while picturing your body becoming invisible.
Hope you have somewhere private to do this, I suppose.
I don't live with anybody, so... Oh, well, I do.
At the church.
At the church.
Yes, I don't exist.
Sorry.
It's fine.
You're usually in your room.
Well, then I assume you'll be
Yeah, I'll probably be doing it.
boiling up in your room.
Alright. Yes, there is somewhere private in the church that I can put the crystal to my head and do this.
Alright, good.
It seems like we might need a few extra ingredients for all of this. Adrian and Daniel, do you suppose you'd be able to gather ingredients for all of these spells that we need tomorrow?
While you're doing reconnaissance?
Yes.
Yes, I could give Ollie a shopping list
Sounds good.
for the herbs.
Yes.
All right.
You don't suppose he'd ask any questions about the copious amounts of olive oil, do you?
No.
He's a good man. He's a good
Very
man.
discreet. He's very discreet.
I feel like he already kind of puts up with Adrian's...
Bizarre, macabre request.
Yeah.
He'll just be glad it's not another 5 bottles of wine.
Oh, yes, I suppose so.
He's drinking oil now.
That's weird.
Alright, anyway, yes, we'll gather those things, the ingredients, whatever it is we need.
So, just to make this go a little bit quicker, is it okay if I just say what other cantrips and things I've decided to give Zachary's character sheet just
Yeah.
as myself?
They sit down and look at the book, and they pick out these things.
So Zachary is unique because he is a witch. He gets 2 cantrips and 3 spells automatically that he does not have to bind to any vessel, but he can still use whatever he binds to a vessel. For Liam, Adrian, and Daniel, we can only do magic if we're using a vessel.
One of the cantrips I picked was called Light. You summon a small ball of light in your hands, does not give off heat, lasts indefinitely until terminated by the user. It is a cantrip. Summon the intention of light in your chosen hand. For more on intention, refer to introduction. Repeat the phrase Lux intus lux force until light appears in your hand. Nudge it lovingly upward, hover like a baby harpy learning to use her wings. Enjoy the pleasure of basking in your own light. Yes, this has truly come from within. I've given him Deflect. Deflect a magical attack with a shield of magic. The shield disappears after deflection. Note, this spell only works to deflect magic, therefore it will not deflect physical attacks. Another note, harnessing the power within does not recommend coming under the blow of physical attacks. Cantrip. There is a contest roll, d20s, unless used as a reaction, in which case it works and no roll is needed. There was the invisibility we discussed earlier. I've also decided to give him full revival, heal yourself or a friend or any ailment, grind myrrh resin in a mortar and pestle. From the ailing one, take a bit of their hair, blood, and fingernails into a quartz bowl. Add the ground myrrh and some olive oil, mix it into a paste. Apply this paste to the source of their ailment. If the ailment is everywhere, such as a blood disease, applying to the third eye will produce the same results. Apply with intent and recite Sana Spiritus Sana. Heal yourself or someone else who's close to death back up to max HP. It works with no rolls and can only be used once, can be used on yourself or someone else. So for this one, he's probably going to prepare this one the night before.
Yeah, he can pre-make the paste and then have it on.
Do we have to put, like, a bit of all of us in the paste? It's from the ailing one. We could all... Can we spit in there?
We could all spit in there.
Disgusting. But probably effective.
Whoever's getting healed is like, gross.
And then the last one is Gravitas. Greatly increases the weight of something, more useful than it sounds. Point your intent towards the item whose weight you wish to increase and say Gravitas. Repeat until successful. Note, Gravitas increases only the weight of an item or thing, not the mass. And that's spells and cantrips that I've used. And Zachary still has his scrying mirror. So there is that. We can go with Adrian next.
Adrian's got 3 items he's got stuff in. He has Persuasion in his cameo necklace. Persuasion convince someone entirely, but be aware that the effect wears off in a quarter of an hour, which is 15 minutes. During this time, the person you convinced will remember that they agreed to something absurd. I had a bit too much fun with this one when I was a young nestling. I once convinced my sister that her own reflection was a new best friend. In parentheses, I do not recommend trifling with your sibling's perception of reality, but I can assert the efficacy of this spell. To use this spell, touch the corner of your lip, make eye contact with the person you wish to convince, and say with intention, Audite et credite. Then you must immediately speak your message, for the next thing they hear from your lips, they will believe entirely, at least for 15 minutes. And that's always going to work. I mean, I can only use it once, but I don't have to roll anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to have unbinding in his cufflinks. Unbinding undoes the binds of a malicious magical shackle, net, or trap. Grasp the magical trap in your hands and recite with intent, Libero me. Can be used on yourself or somebody else. And the last thing he has in the ruby earrings is distraction. Aim a sound far away from you to distract someone or something. Picture a ball forming up from your chest to your mouth. Imagine that ball containing the sound you wish to emit. Take that ball of intent in your fingers and cast it where you wish. Since Adrian and Daniel are going to be sneaking in through the tunnels, seems like those are good things to have.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Did we go over what Liam has?
Not yet.
We've almost got everything. So Liam is going to bring a brooch from home for Zach to enchant that has the mimicry that we talked about. The sapphire ring that he got from Magick is going to be his summon weapon ring. And then he's also going to bring some cufflinks from home that are in the shape of crosses with tiny little diamonds in the center. Probably a gift from his mother.
Fancy.
He's going to bring those to be charmed with gravitas. So Zach and Liam will have a copy of gravitas.
Okay, nice.
And he's also going to bring a peridot brooch to give to Daniel so that Daniel can get another spell slot, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Adrian's going to have to bring something, or maybe two things, so he and Daniel can do mimicry also.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
If we really want to
Yeah.
fully disguise as polos.
Yes. So right now, Daniel has the infused obsidian brooch, which is infused with shared sight, which I already read. And then he also has a spell of waking, which Zachary will infuse to a little cravat pin made of glass that Daniel has. The spell of waking... I'll have Daniel read it. Spell of waking. Sleeping spells are nothing to snore at. Use the spell of waking to sober someone up or awaken them from a magical sleep. Be warned, this cannot be used on oneself. Always practice magic with a buddy. Summon the intention of waking into your hand. Touch this hand to the eyes of the person you wish to wake. Repeat the phrase aperi oculos tuos with intent until the person awakens. If they do not, rub thy hands with olive oil and salt and try the phrase again. If they still do not wake, seek the help of professional mages. See potions section for a potion of waking recipe.
Oh boy.
I let you guys pick the spells because I know what's coming next and you don't. So you gave Daniel Lightning Ball, which will be infused in the peridot brooch that Liam is bringing for him. Lightning Ball.
Lightning ball?
Lightning Ball. Lightning Ball. Conjure a ball of lightning in your hand. Focus your intent into your fingertips and palm. Shoot the intent from your fingertips into a central point hovering just above your palm and controlled by the intent from your palm. Say, Fulgur, and imagine lightning releasing from your fingers. Once in control of this ball of lightning, it may be hurled like any other physical object.
I think it'll be quite nice for Daniel to be the one in charge of lightning this time instead of on the receiving end, he says to Zach.
Zachary laughs and nods.
Receiving end?
Oh, sorry, that's something that you all wouldn't remember.
Oh, it's the inside joke. So you wouldn't get it.
Haha.
You traded your memories. It's not my fault.
I saved us, apparently. Adrian and I saved us.
We did you a favor.
But thank you.
So Liam was going to bring more jewelry
Yes.
for Daniel and Adrian to also have mimicry.
Well,
And
Adrian
then-
will bring his own thing for his mimicry.
Okay.
Liam
Okay.
can bring one for Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel doesn't have many gems.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of glass. And a lot of, metals and stuff. So then Daniel and Adrian will be shopping tomorrow.
Okay, so that's the plan.
Or are they just giving it to Ollie and then they'll continue planning stuff?
Yeah, we could practice our porter accents, our working class accents.
Zachary rolls his eyes, but he catches himself halfway through and just looks away.
Daniel blinks at Adrian.
I'm kidding.
Good joke.
He looks at Liam for help, but Liam is elsewhere, I imagine.
we need Fergus, we need to practice his accent.
I suppose what the magical book was talking about, meditating and such, perhaps. We'll have to
That's not a bad idea.
Right.
work on our intention.
Right. We could meditate and discover our own intent. Everyone has it, right? Do we have it?
Yes.
Do we?
Yes. Yes, everybody, in a sense, can learn magic to some degree.
That's amazing.
Does the church keep that under wraps?
His face falls when he thinks about it, and he looks away from Liam, and he goes, yes. He looks kind of tense when he says it.
What does that mean?
Well, shakes his head. I don't know that I have the time to discuss it, nor the will.
What?
If it makes you feel better, it isn't anything that's pertinent to this mission. It's not something you have to know, but it is something unpleasant to talk about.
Oh, fine. It's always the way with you.
It's just a way that other people. They don't want people knowing magic, otherwise they'd have to incarcerate everybody.
Why do you look so tense? That's what I'm asking.
Why do I look so tense when I'm talking about it?
I guess.
Adrian, everyone, I'm sure you have things that you'd rather not talk about, right?
I got in trouble for that.
Zach will tell us what we need to know when he's ready.
Alright, fine.
He nods, thankful at Liam, and then he takes in a breath, and then he goes, alright, well, I guess we have our plan so far. Adrian, Daniel, you have your mission of what you need to do tomorrow. Liam, you meet me at the church at this time. That's when I begin my shift, and I will show you around.
Zachary works 8 to 12, then he has a 1 hour lunch break, and then he works from 1 to 5.
And he takes that lunch hour, damn it.
He should.
As he should.
Do we all meet here again after your work?
Yes.
Should I ask for you specifically when I arrive at the doors?
Yes.
Very well. Is there anything else I should know before I go?
Ugh.
Will I get bonus points if I deck myself up in crosses?
If you what?
If I deck myself out in crosses.
Oh, deck.
A cross couldn't hurt. He shrugs.
Just don't be too conspicuous.
Liam dresses as the Pope.
The Pope but Elvis, so it's like blinged out crosses. Unless that's what the Pope already wears. Yeah, he just says, yes, just don't be conspicuous, just be interested in money the entire time, and I'll just show you around.
Adrian feels very nervous now that he knows that the both of them are actually going in there tomorrow to do stuff.
Under their real names, too.
Yeah, he's very nervous. Just be be very careful, please. Very careful.
If all goes according to plan, they should only see us as employee and person being shown around, and they shouldn't know of our involvement whatsoever the next night.
Don't worry about this, Adrian. I have to deal with this sort of thing on a regular basis anyhow.
But normal investors aren't waiting to murder you if you learn too much of their secrets.
You'd be surprised, actually.
Oh.
This is Zachary. Having held a lot of sensitive accounts in the past, I think Liam and I sort of have run into this problem before.
Oh my god.
Just
Oh
be
my
careful.
god. Adrian looks at Liam, just much more horrified.
Money's a dangerous thing. It's its own black magic.
It's very good. Do you mind if I write that down?